Brainbox.
Don't want me to pack deliveries? Fine by me. So I work for a fairly big supermarket chain in the UK that offers in-store deliveries. By this, customers can do their shopping, pay and then have it delivered either later, that day or the following day. To do this, we pack the bags into crates that then have notes with the surname and address taped onto them. I've become fairly friendly with the drivers and the manager in charge to the extent that they've started leaving me in charge of it. So sometimes we print too many labels and have to bin them, and one day a different manager saw me bin the spare labels and decided he didn't want me on that job anymore. Cue the MC. On Sundays we are usually down to a skeleton crew of about 4 or 5, with 3 of us working from opening and the other 2 starting in the afternoon. This is important. On the next shift I work with this manager, a Sunday which I work open close. I'm told that he doesn't want me touching the deliveries, and I'm left to man the till, while he and my other co-worker put the fresh produce out, and while they're up the back I get 4 deliveries put through my till, which I leave in the trolleys and ring for my co-worker to pack them. She comes down and does it. About 15 minutes later I get another 2 and ring for her. This time the manager comes down and asks why I'm not packing them away, and that because we are understaffed, that he can't have one person work the fresh produce cages while the other comes down to pack away deliveries that I could do, which is when I tell him that he said he doesn't want me touching them. He then relents and lets me go back in charge of the deliveries for the rest of my shift. Oh, you want all of the holiday stuff separated? Well, you asked for it. This is a doozy. Also, on mobile, so formatting will be a bit weird. So I work at a big warehouse store for home improvement. I work in the back, in receiving as an unloader, and our job is to basically unload the trucks, put it on pallets, and take it out. Pretty simple, right? Wrong. They have rules and standards for everything. Most makes sense, such as certain pallets must have certain departments. Also, we had to team lift anything over a certain weight. Mostly this warning was ignored, and we couldn't climb on the pre-made pallets side of the truck or other merchandise as it's dangerous. Also ignored, but I have a fun story about that later. However, around the holidays, they have the most ridiculous rule ever. All holiday stuff must be put on separate pallets. What goes on what pallet could acknowledge within the hour. We also had to finish the truck in 3 hours, no matter what. There would be 7 to 10 pallets for holiday stuff, some with maybe 1 or 2 boxes on it by the end of the night. On to the malicious compliance. The leader back there generally did whatever they asked, so long as it was reasonable, without complaint. This was not one of those times. We didn't have much room back there, so this took up all of the little remaining room. Still, we complied, and even helpfully changed the pallets around when they changed their minds about where things went. Every single time. We took time to make sure everything was exactly where it was supposed to be. They were forced to let us block an aisle for all the stuff that stays in the back as well, costing them money as customers couldn't go down that aisle. Eventually, they got slightly more lenient on it, but it was still pretty bad. We were also stacking pallets as fast as possible to make up for lost time, but sadly, it generally took us 5 or so hours to get a truck unloaded on a good night. Oh well. We were just doing what they asked. Taking a pizza order as an irresponsible teenager. So this happened probably around about 12 to 13 years ago, when I was a teenager working at a call center for Domino's. I had only been working there for a couple of weeks as a side job when I wasn't at school, since my buddy's brother ran the place. One evening I get a call from a dude who's obviously rather inebriated. I ask him where he is, and he gives the name of Market Square, no specific address. I try to fish more specific information out of him, but he seems pretty clueless and keeps talking to his friends behind the phone and forgetting I'm trying to take his order. Eventually I just stop caring and end up just stamping in the address of the square he told me about initially. Then I ask him what he wants, and he just says, "Hey, whatever, just choose for me." I try to ask if he's sure and how many pizzas, and he just iterates what he said before, but for 6 pizzas. So back in the day you had to stamp in every topping for some reason on a keyboard where a key corresponded to each topping. Me being the naughty little teenager that I was, and having stopped caring about the call some time ago, just starts mashing the keyboard for a few minutes for each pizza, so that each pizza had multiples of most of the available toppings, amounting to a bill of $500. I then sent the order out. To be honest, I doubt they even made the order, but I felt like such a badass back then, lol. Sorry for the shitty payoff, I should probably have made something up, but I value truth, so fuck it.